Hey, what is up, YouTube? This is We All Juggle Knives, and this knife is the Ganzo G752. Look at the blue accents. It's got a flipper and thumb studs, a two-position pocket clip, stone-washed bolster. It's also got G10 handle scales. Opens very smoothly. That is 440C. Right now, look at the lock. They're calling it a frame lock, but note the G10 handle scale covers a lot of the lock bar. And sometimes people refer to that as a hybrid lock. Now the blade shape itself, it's a winning blade shape, extra wide drop point, extremely pointed. It is stone washed lightly as well. It's got their Firebird icon on there. And note the fuller, right? It's got a fuller on the blade for lightness. Right, now, like I said, this has a bearing system. See the liners semi-open. And it flips out beautifully. If you go to the link in the text box, you can see this thing disassembled. And you can clearly see the bearing system. And also the liners are heavily skeletonized for lightness. It opens like a dream. It's really a very attractive knife overall. I mean, it's the designer... You know, they made it look nice and be functional. It came very sharp, as you will see. The length of the blade is about 3.6 inches. It's kind of a large knife, kind of thick at the spine. But like I said, heavily skeletonized liners and that fuller makes it lighter than you would think. And that pivot, it's smooth as silk. Now, because the handle scale covers part of the lock bar, it's a natural overextension stop to the lock bar. Right? And this it's a wicked slicing blade shape. And, you know, slicing is usually the most common type of cutting for an EDC folder. Nice flyby. Right? You can see the little impression if you want to switch between tip up and tip down, but right side only. You bastards, I'm a lefty, but I can deal. I usually carry a knife on both sides. So anything that you can't be lefty, that'll just be my right side knife. I saw this also comes in orange handle scales or black, and the orange one looked really nice too. I might have to pick that one up in addition to this olive drab. I think they call it the sweet orange. Not quite sure how their Chinese works, but here it is slicing. This knife, along with that Barrage clone up there, those two knives were easily the sharpest of these 5 budget blades. I will include links to the product links for these and the codes, because I'm not sure what order I will post these, but this thing came razor sharp. I don't know if that was just mine or if every single one is like that. The price on this is around $20. But it could be less if there's a sale or if there's a code. The best place to get this is gearbest.com, especially if you're not in the United States. They usually have the best prices. Shipping takes a while, but I mean, I'd recommend buying more than one blade so that you're not waiting a month for one item. And as I've said before, you know, with less expensive knives like this, in my experience, pretty much the quality control can be kind of inconsistent. So pretty much 1 out of 5 that you might buy, you know, it might need some sharpening or might have some little thing wrong with it. And that just goes with the territory. But this particular design, to me, it's one of the best Ganzos. You know, all of the Ganzos are a value in terms of you need a beater knife. But this one looks good. It flips well. They've really added a lot of touches. I mean, they didn't have to skeletonize the liners. They didn't have to use a bearing system. They didn't have to put those blue accents. So actually, this one, to me, this is worth a little more than most Ganzos. And it's pretty much the size you can use for anything. You know, it's a bit EDC, a bit tactical. You could use it as a camp knife too. It is a folder. Don't do anything dumb with it. But I mean, you know, for light camp tasks, cutting some cordage, slicing some food, you know the drill. This would make a good gift too, primarily because it looks it looks like it could be a lot more expensive than it is. Like if I didn't know what a Ganzo was and you told me, let's say they removed the logo, and let's say you told me this was like a CRKT knife or a SOG knife, you know, you could well guess that it was a $50 or $60 knife. So it is sweet that it's available for 20 or less. All right, this was sent to me from, not from Ganzo, of course, but from a website that sells Ganzos, gearbest.com, all right, with a big batch of other inexpensive knives. And of the 5 knives that I got, this was the sharpest, and it was also just the best one, I think. You know, but I'll include all the links if you want to pick one up. But yeah, I'm very happy with this knife. I'd like to get the orange one at some future date. Hope you enjoyed seeing it. This has been We All Juggle Knives.